It is a big night. In fact, it is technically, officially, sort of the last Monday night together that we're going to have like this. Next Monday, we'll come in for about 5 minutes, and then we'll do our running, and then we'll have our pizza palooza and some things going on afterwards. So this is technically our last night to kind of gather and have some time together. What we are thinking about tonight is this is our no coasting night. Yes, she got it. Yo, I like when that works. And so what I mean by no coasting, I mean that tonight for week 11, we're going to be talking about relaxing, but don't coast. And we're going to be talking about reflecting, but don't coast. And we're going to be talking about relating, but guess what? That's right. And so when I'm talking about relaxing, let's talk about our running, okay? We're less than 2 weeks away from the big morning, May 11th, 8 o'clock. So you guys have worked so hard. A lot of the work is still ahead of us, okay? So we want to relax because we're in a good place, but we definitely can't coast these last 10, 12 days, all right? So how are we going to do that? We are, since we're not going to coast, we're going to complete the training. Complete the training. We've just got a few more runs, and then we're going to do a few that are just longer times, and then we're going to do a distance ones next week. And then we're going to be ready. So complete it. You've come this far. We're going to trust the plan. Some of us are saying, gosh, let me think. The 5K is 3.1 miles. I know that when I've been running 27 minutes, 28 minutes, I've got 1.9 miles. That's a lot of point mileage between there. Woo, and I'm worn out at the end of that. And I'm not where I was. Just trust the plan. It is going to just sort of accumulate into performance these last few days like you just won't believe. That morning, wherever you are, you're going to be 80% from your training. It's going to boost you an additional 20% in terms of endurance and conditioning and being able to finish that race that morning. So don't worry about it. Trust it, okay? You're going to sleep and hydrate. The next 11 nights, really try to get some sleep if you can, okay? Top performance. But the best thing you can do is just start hydrating. If you're not someone who drinks a lot of water or doesn't drink much water, now's the time. If you wait till next Friday night and part of your carb load is, oh, I'm going to get some water inside it does no good, okay? Hydration has to build up over time in your body, so now's the time to start working on that. Visualize the course, visualize your race. Today, we're going to go down to Agape. We're going to see that part of the course and come back. So start thinking about how we've put it all together and what that might look like for you. Limit your experimenting. What do I mean by that? Yes, that's right. Don't recreate your wheel. If it's worked so far, stay with it. Dance with the one who brought you. I've never used that in a class. I like that. Right? So that means whatever you're wearing, your shoes, all that sort of thing, the way that you're running your form, now's not the time to say, I'm going to try some different things. All right? We're going to sort of tune it in now, dial it in. Your diet, right? If you've never had Indian food next Thursday and Friday night, no experimenting, okay? So let's limit that. And we're going to enjoy the process of these last few days and into that week. So I want you to relax, but definitely don't coast. Okay? Now let's talk about reflecting. And the first part about reflecting, before we talk about not coasting, is at your table real quick. I want you to reflect on our past 11 weeks, one specific area of growth that you think that you've had over the past 11 weeks, whether that's the physical race or the spiritual race. The relationships that happen, whatever it might be, is there an area in your life that you attribute to these last 11 weeks that you've recognized as, yeah, I've come a little ways in that. Not a long ways, but a little ways, or maybe a long ways. Share that at your table, just real quick. Okay, we're looking back, thinking back. You'll continue to do that. All right, but as you reflect, what we don't want to do is we don't want to coast in these areas, okay? So now at your table, now that you've looked back, I want you to share, again, just quickly as you can, what is one primary goal for the Rock 5K, looking ahead, and or a physical goal beyond the Rock 5K for the physical race that you might aspire to? Okay, so we're not going to coast. We're looking back at maybe some accomplishment, but what might be something that lays ahead that you'd like to work toward now? What is it that, whether the 5K or just something beyond that physically? Okay, share. Okay, part 2 to this question. We've reflected back, our time together, we're looking forward, we're not going to coast. Talk about an aspirational objective that you would like to see lived out in your life relative to 1 Corinthians 13. Oh, he got silent on us, didn't he? Yeah. What, is there any element of what we've been through with 1 Corinthians 13 or anything we've talked about that you say, wow, yeah, I'd like to move toward that. I'd like to pursue that. Talk at your table. We're going to help you because, particularly in this area, as you reflect on and think back, we're going to give you a reminder tonight. This is your family crest. So even if you're specifically not on the coaster, like if you say, all right, we didn't have anything to do with that one, you did. Just sort of all the creative energy. Yeah, that's better. Yeah. So I hope you take it with you and remember no coasting. All right, good. So I hope you take the coaster with you and it'll be a good place to reflect back on. But we got to get to something else tonight. All right, relate, but don't coast. All right, what I mean by relate, here's the really heart of what we're going to talk about tonight, is it's been easy, I think, as we go through 1 Corinthians and all the other things we talked about, to say, yeah, I kind of get that. I relate to that, right? I can relate to the fact that 1 Corinthians is a group of folks in a church that, they were a little bit divisive. They had different thoughts about things. They were often very selfish thoughts about things. They were very worldly thoughts about things, but they were trying to incorporate them in because that was the world around them. That was just sort of what we do. And so I kind of get that they would come together and there would be friction and tension. And I get that Paul had to write into it and say, hey, don't you remember we just talked about this? I need you to be one because you are a testimony, a witness to the world. And so we related to that. I think we could relate to 1 Corinthians specifically 13, 1 through 7, where he says, if we speak and have prophecy, we understand and we have faith and give all, but we have not love, we are noisy gongs, clanging cymbals. We are nothing. We have no gain. He would go on to say love is. That was a lot in there. When we break it down like that, that's a lot. That's what love is. So I think we can relate to that. The fact that if we do all the right things, but we do them without love, then we're really just sort of a distraction. We're really just sort of useless. We're really just sort of out for ourselves and not very helpful to others or to the kingdom. And then we say, well, what should we look like? And we look at all these and we say, yeah, I can relate to that. I get that. I get that if I were more patient, if someone was more kind, that if we didn't envy and we didn't boast, that would be more loving. That would be this great love. So we can relate to that. I don't think there's not any sort of level of great theological thought associated with 1 Corinthians 13 that we can't relate to. Even more so in that final verse, 8:13, and the one we talk about in here. We understand the idea that faith and hope are also going to last. They abide, they remain. But it truly is love that is the greatest because we will be living in the presence. I think we can relate to some of the weekly things too. I think we can relate that love is humble, that truly the greatest is when the least is greater than the great. When we humble ourselves before others, then that's true, humble love, pure love. We could say that, I relate to that there really is no greater love than to lay down one's life for another. The gospel good news is that great love, to lay down one's life for another. Right? I can relate to that. I understand that. We understand that perfect love is found in God. We can relate to all the things that we're told about God. Gentle, unfailing, merciful, forgiving, eternal, grace-filled. All the things Scripture tells us about. In some certain way, many of us can relate to having been recipients of that love, to having understanding what was involved with the grace and the mercy to enter into that love. We can relate. We can relate to biblical love. You guys remember the 4 types of biblical love we talked about? Romantic love. Eros, okay. The family, familial love. Okay. The brotherly love. But then the greatest, the most noble of loves. I heard it in the back. Agape love, right? Hopefully we can relate to those loves, at least in part. not in fullness, but we can relate to what they mean and how we can use them. So we can relate to all that. But if all we do is relate to it and not do anything with it, then we've truly just coasted into each day. We're just sort of coasting through the rest of this earthly existence. And so for us not to coast means that we're to learn and to love and to live out all of those aspects of love that we can relate to. That we are to model it, desire it, teach it, grow in it, pray for it, right? All of these ways that we relate so that we are receiving and then demonstrating a love that is grounded in God's love, that truly draws others to Him. At the end of the day, if we go through this life and that's all we do, that's all we accomplish, then that is a life worthy of well done. Enter in. And not only that, that is a life that is more blessed with reward of just having lived in that love and contentment and peace as well. That's the great desire and objective of our lives, is to do that. So we can relate to it, but I'm going to challenge all of us as we move forward to actually love that and learn it and then live it out. Desire it and grow in it. Does that make sense? That's how we don't coast. And so may that also be a reminder that whether it's our physical, our spiritual races in general, or just the idea of living and then living out God's love. Let's not coast. Let's keep moving forward. Let's be the greatest. Be the greatest in the 1 Corinthians 13 aspect. Okay. Talk about our workout. And tonight we've got a good one. 28 minutes. 28 minutes. You guys got this. We've already done this, right? You were the plan. 28 minutes. Here's what I want us to do. I want us to go. We're going to head out to Agape first. So we're going to go. But once you return past where you started, you've entered the runner return zone. Okay? Familiarize yourself with this poster. See it in your sleep. Because once you enter into the runner return zone, we want you to stay to your right. Yeah. So you'll see that out there. Hopefully you'll see some volunteers reminding you as well about that. So that's the water station there, and then Agape will be clear on that turn, and it should be a little drier down there, not all the water in the way and all that. So I think that's going to be really good. Workouts 2 and 3 this week, 30-minute runs. Okay? We got that. You got that. 30 minutes. Volunteers. The primary need right now, we're in really good shape with the exception of parking. And it's parking / traffic. So for between 7 a.m. and 8 a.m., we have a real need to make sure people don't come into the River Oaks parking lot, okay? That they go on down to West Forsyth, that's where you park for runners and walkers. And or if you're a volunteer this year, you can come in the back way and park here in the Discipleship Center lot. So we need people at each of these sections to kind of help, and then also to help at West Forsyth because our course runs through West Forsyth campus. The last thing we need is about 3 cars to be right in the middle of the course. So parking helps us make sure that the course is blocked off and we get in the right spot. So if you've got someone in your house, you've got a friend that just says, hey, I'd like to volunteer, is going to come up here with you and doesn't mind getting here about 7, 8 o'clock, they can pretty much just stay where they are and cheer on the runners and they're done. So that's our one need, and we'll keep working on that, and we'll have plenty to help us. We got a lot of course support folks, so as you guys run, we're going to have a lot of folks cheering you on and making sure you're going the right way. Raise the bar. Thank you, guys. We're still raising a lot of protein bars. That's going really well. Pick up your shirts. Okay, on your way back tonight, if you didn't get your shirt yet, please pick it up and then sign your name if you did get it on the list. Make sure that you've checked off received, because I'm going to go back and I'm going to have check how many sizes and who hasn't got theirs. And then next week we'll do it again. And then on Friday night at packet pickup, I'll do it again. And then Saturday morning it'll be available to do it again. And then for the next 6 weeks, there'll be some of you I'll still be calling. I've got your shirt. So I just want to make sure if you do have it, then I'm not calling you because you didn't sign off your list and that sort of thing. So please help me on that. Next week, Pizza Palooza. Let me ask you, how many plan on being here next week? Great. Good. We're ordered a lot of pizza. And fruit and some other goodies and Gatorade and everything else. Let me ask you one other question. Show of hands, It's only going to be cheese or pepperoni. Cheese pizza. Pepperoni pizza. Looks like maybe 70% pepperoni kind of thing. So fantastic. We won't run out of pizza regardless, but that helps. Thank you so much. Friday night is packet pickup, next Friday night. Okay, so come if you can, because that's the night you're definitely going to get your shirts. We're doing something different with race shirts this year, something we've never done. You're the only group in all the 500 plus runners and walkers that are going to sign up that know about this. Would you like to know? Yes. Okay. Because when I did the mock-ups for the race shirts, they looked so good in 2 different colors. We're going to give you a choice. We're going to have 2 different colors of shirts that you can choose from for your race shirt. I'm not telling you the colors. I'm just telling you we're getting half of them in one color and half in the other. And so if you want to be guaranteed that choice, come on Friday night. Because by Saturday morning, you may just get what's left. Okay? So that's going to be fun. And then, of course, we're going to have a big just sort of expo there. We've got we're going to do packet pickup bags again this year. We went away from them because most of them initially had been plastic, and we just didn't want to keep doing that sort of thing. But this year, one of our new sponsors, Novant Healthcare. So cheers out to Novant. Thank you. Some of you are part of them. Not only are they part of their sponsorship, they give a nice sponsorship, but they also are donating several hundred of those canvas bags that they have that are really nice. And that's going to be our packet pickup bag. So again, come for one of those and a lot of other fun stuff. So that's Friday night. And that'll give time to sort of be prepared, get your bib, all that. But now Saturday morning, here's the important part, just to go over quickly. Packet pickup and registration continues until 7:30. So if someone in your household, a neighbor or coworker says, hey, I'm going to wait and just see what the weather's like, they've got till 7:30 that they can register Saturday morning. Childcare is available from 7:15 to 9 o'clock. Okay? And then do not miss this. Do not miss this. 7:29. Most likely be the same sort of spot out front. If not, I'll let you know. That is our Run for God family photo. I always know that I always look at the Bowen table when I think about this. And man, that year we missed them as we took the picture and they were running onto the parking lot. Billy, Mariana. And we had to take the picture and move on. Because race morning is about being on the time thing. So please don't miss that family reunion photo. 7:43, we'll get behind the WBFJ van and we'll start doing our welcoming. And we'll talk about Pivot Ministry. They'll do a quick introduction. And then we're going to do our prayer and final instructions at 7:50. 7:53, you'll head to the start. And at 8 o'clock, 0 seconds and 0 tenths and 0 100ths. We will say go. And then 9 a.m. is the kids' fun run. That's just sort of any ages, no big deal. They're going to run about a quarter mile around the church, come back down through the finish line. So some of our youngest runners like to do 2 different events that morning, completely free. Just go on the other side of the church. You'll hear announcements. And at 9:15, we will start doing the age group awards. Hang around for that. We've got some good door prizes. It's a lot of fun to cheer on everybody else. And I'm telling you, you just never know. On a race our size, which is a larger race for a community race, but not so large a race, that you may only be among about 8 or 10 or 12 within your specific age group. And you just never know the top 3 times. You may say, hey, that took me 47 minutes to finish. And guess what? Congratulations, 3rd place. Here you go. Yes. So we'll have fun with that. 2 things that we've just been very, very committed to, just being runners ourselves, is that start time. I laugh about it, joke about it, but in all seriousness, that is a huge commitment to both for law enforcement and shutting down the street and everything else. 8 o'clock, we want you to count on that being the start time. And we want you to count on the fact that awards go fast. We're going to have fun. We're going to recognize people, but we're not going to take up all your Saturday morning. So we're going to go through the names and do some things. And those are 2 things that we're really committed to at the Rock 5K. We're still on track. If we look at like year over year, 2023 was our largest ever. We talked about 528 runners and walkers. And on this date, this far out last year, we had 338 signed up, which is always pretty common, about 60%. And today, we had 339 signed up. So that's pretty good. I feel pretty good about that. And so keep spreading the word. And sponsorships, thank you, Karina DeGuire and Rebecca Kearns, both of you guys. is just by far the largest sort of sponsorship year that we've ever had. You're going to see some really big ones. We even had to add categories. We've got area sponsorships now that you're going to see signs for the official water station sponsor, Novon Health on packet pickup, Session Specialty, Start Finish Line area sponsorship, and then Ardmore Baptist will be sponsoring the water station. So that will be prayed over water right there for sure. I feel pretty good. That'll be some Baptist water for us there. That'll be good. All right. And so that's going real well. So we feel really good about supporting Pivot Ministry through that. And your age group awards are coming from Solus Christus. They're pretty awesome. And there's going to be a little extra bonus with age group awards this year too. It's fun. It'll be fun and tasty. Yeah. All right. Let me pray. And we'll go out here and just stretch for a little bit, and then we'll get going tonight.